Well, hello and welcome all to another episode of Beer and That. We're on number 207, not 207, season 2, episode 7. You're here with Papa Yak, the old Viking Thisk.
Luke, right here.
So I was waiting for you to say hello there.
Okay, yep.
And the Dudley.
Are we actually starting? Or
we're starting. We're ready.
We all know what we're doing here.
Yeah, so
it's been halfway through our second season. We should know what we're doing by now.
It's not obvious, mate, either way. So tonight we've got 3 segments, as per usual. Segment 1's a bit of a homebrew section, boys. We're going to talk through a recipe. Luke's, Mike's, which one?
My recipe, Mike's got all the notes and everything on it, though. I should
I do. We've been swapping things around a little bit of late. But so this is one of Luke's beers from the Homebrew Challenge that we've been working through very slowly. So
all you homebrewers, stick around for segment 1. Segment 2, we've got a commercial equivalent of that beer.
That's right.
Correct.
So probably one of the epitome of that particular style is what we're going to be going through. So that'll be a good one in terms of commercial examples. And I think Luke is going to take a leaf out of your book from last episode.
Yeah, just
10 fun facts, fast.
10 fast fun facts.
Yes.
I've got 11 slow, boring facts. But,
Oh, God.
So stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
And
that is
3.
exciting. 11. I couldn't
segment
squeeze it into 10.
Really?
No.
I'm very interested now.
My segment 3 is all about Mike and surprises.
Is this the getting to know Mike?
We are going to get to know Mike.
Getting to know Mike.
You thought we'd never do another episode because this was yours in like 202 or 203 where we went through
early.
your 3 sort of beers. So we're going to get the rest of them knocked out in the next few episodes. But yeah, tonight it's my turn.
Knocking them out.
Tell a bit of a story.
Drink
some beers.
So that's going to be the most interesting and most entertaining, I think, segment 3.
Yeah, because it'll be
hang around for that one.
Yeah.
But if you're not, you can skip through. Happy to skip through. Skip. Or not, listen. But we're going to leave you with Mike of the Duds for segment 1. Please tell us what's going on.
I was about to say, that's a heck of a segue because I was going to say, can you guys just make noise for 2 minutes while I pour your beers? But maybe it's best that I explain why I do need a bit of help here with some talking on the side, because our category for this podcast is Irish Stout, which is 15B in your BJCP program. So again, one of Luke's Homebrew Challenge beers. And tonight we are pouring it on nitro. So that is why I'm going to quickly scurry off and get these all poured out. So on
those Homebrew Challenge, we've finally got another couple up on YouTube as well. So we've got the red IPA, the black IPA, about to do the white, but we're recipes are up. Go online, check us out.
It'll start making a bit more sense. We've spoken about this a lot, but there's probably not as much content out at the moment for
exactly.
I've
got that up there, so I was hoping we can. This is
starting to build it.
Unrelated to all of you listening right now. I'm pointing to a big A2 poster. Is that the way 2 is smaller?
It doesn't matter.
That's probably A1 even.
Interesting.
Let's stop the podcast for a sec. I'm just going to double check what that paper size is. Chris, do you have a tape measure handy?
Anyway, it's a big list of the beers that we've been going through. So me and Mike are going to go and scope and see what we'll be doing. But Mike, you're pouring, aren't you?
I am. So maybe
who's got the recipe?
Luke kind of formulated this recipe from scratch, which is probably one of the first ones you've done, at least for the Homebrew Challenge. Anyway, normally we've kind of,
we've used it. In the past we've used recipes that we've known, or like we've gotten from someone,
trusted. Everything's stolen.
Everything's stolen. Again, this isn't super original, but I kind of just looked through the BJCP guidelines to what we were looking for.
Yeah, that's right.
Looking at like what hop notes you were looking for, what grain, what percentages of the grain made up the bill, and kind of just went through that. I don't have it. I don't have it right now, but
roughly, what do we got?
Again, I don't even know. Roughly.
Marisota. I'm guessing.
Luke, I'll bail you out here real quick. You can steal my screen for a sec.
I did not come prepared.
And you were late.
And I was late. What was I doing?
What are you doing?
So anyway, I pretty much used the BJCP guidelines and then just some forums out there to get a rough gauge of where we were going, what we needed. So we ended up using 3.2 kilos of Gladfield American Ale malt. I wanted Marisota, but I couldn't get any at the time because that was height of COVID stuff. So no one had it in stock. It was a kilo of flake barley. give it mouthfeel, but it doesn't give as many flavours as flaked oats or flaked something else, wheat.
Flake wheat, yeah.
So it's just more mouthfeel, less of the other stuff. And then, some roast barley, half a kilo roast barley.
Nice.
Good stuff.
The good stuff.
Make a
it
full
dark.
beer out of
make
that
a
one
full
day.
beer.
Mate, okay.
And then some Fuggles hops. Which
Fuggles is pretty. East
Yeah.
Kent Goldings or Fuggles. I'd assume you put something like that in there. What do we round this up with, mate? What yeast?
What yeast? It was the first time we used this yeast as well. It was a Nottingham ale yeast from Lellerman's. Was it? Oh, Danstar.
I used Danstar a lot.
Yeah.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and first time we've used it.
I used that for a NEPA a year or so ago. That 9% that we've rolled over.
It was big.
Yeah, those English yeasts, they're quite good at giving you the high level of flocculation, giving you the haziness. Not that you're really going to tell in a beer that's this black, but just as a bit of a side note, they're gaining a bit of popularity. And one thing you did miss as well, this is...
I was about to get to that, I think.
No, you missed it. I've already taken the laptop back.
I just saw it. I was about to point it out to you, but you win this one. This was your genius.
One of our brew day things that we always say, we don't really know much about this. We'd like to learn more about it. Our water in Adelaide is normally pretty hard. And, typically that's pretty good for mashing most styles of beer. But just trying to put a bit of a touch in emulating a particular source of water, we chucked in a little bit more chalk and a bit of gypsum as well, just to get our minerals up. To emulate the Dublin style dry stout water profile.
There you go.
As we've been reading up on, so
it's one of the first times.
I don't really do that stuff much.
Treatment or
I think we've done it once before, but
I did it for the NEPA as well. That I just brewed on the weekend. Yeah. But it's one of those things that I'm just trying to get into. We're kind of in a hard spot because our water's so hard already. It's not like we can go back and then
you don't know what we got to begin with, which is
to
hard.
Do a Pilsner or something like that, or if you want to really, stringently follow a set of guidelines. But no,
it's good. Yeah. Good. I'm keen as to hear it. So I would have loved. I know it's really hard to do the same recipe with no adjustments to the water and see if
and that's.
See how noticeable
makes
it is.
A difference or not.
Sample size, Chris.
Fuck your sample.
You're talking like one of us now.
Fuck your sample.
This is actually a interesting development on our brewing front because we're looking to upgrade to get ourselves the capacity to do 2 batches in one day, which is going to open a whole bunch of doors to doing side-by-side experiments back-to-back on the same day. So you're thinking of we're thinking.
So we don't have to see each other every week. We only have to see each other every 2 weeks.
We see each other a lot in it.
We'll just be playing golf in that other weekend instead of brewing.
That'd actually be rad. I miss golf.
Just bought Jamie a set of golf clubs today.
Surfing. Who?
Jamie.
Jamiroquai plays golf.
She does now. Not very well.
Not very well. Yeah. There's a surfing I actually want to get back into because I've got my little boy. I've been taking him to Victor and stuff, and I want to get him. He's 9 months old. You
can take me and teach me how to surf as well if you like.
Man, better chance teaching a 9-month-old.
Oh, dude. Do you remember? I'm gonna just fucking be fat and float now. There's no boards I got that I won't sink.
I've got a big board and it sinks. I need to go on waves that are too big for me. For them to be able to hold my weight.
We're going to go on proper big boy waves now. It's not good. Well, I do anyway. But
just don't stand up. Just ride it in.
Just ride it on my guts. What do they call it? Slugging. So I'm actually really keen to try. So I'm really into the darker beers at the moment. I've got
It is winter. Harder winter.
I've got an Imperial Stout recipe I want to do after. I've got 2 more beers to brew and then I've got the Imperial Stout recipe. Ready for... I want to do the Sabsoza and the Robe Beer Fest with that one. So... Speaking of beer festivals or competitions, by the way, boys, you got about 1 day to enter the SABC Winter Comp.
And what are we entering?
Ooh. No, I've got 3. You can only enter 3 beers, so I've got 3 or more.
No, but what?
What am I entering?
No, what styles are we... Or is it
a
free-for-all?
A wide genre. I'm entering the Martzaniac. I'm entering the Coffee Porter. And I'm entering as a stout, and I'm entering my black IPA as a porter because I'm trying to enter.
That's what they were closer to.
True to style,
yeah.
It's actually interesting. We did some testing and stuff the other week. Mike, you missed it, but on we did some style stuff and some actual judging. But this looks.
It's actually come out better than I thought it would be. For those listening, I was knowing I was going to have to bring the nitro kit with me tonight. And I was struggling to get it pouring with that reverse sort of, that ripply, nice bubbles falling down the side of the glass effect that you get when you're pouring your Guinness. But it's kind of It's not as prominent, but the finished product, like once everything has settled out, it looks fantastic.
Yeah,
This is
like
one
nice
this
white
is one of the
foamy.
HBC beers, isn't it? Sorry.
No, this is a homebrew challenge. Yeah, HBC.
We don't even know what we're doing.
What's
this
the-
is just
yeah.
looking so good. I want to take
Because everything's
proper
bloody abbreviated. I can't keep
DSLR
up with
camera
it.
thing
Yeah,
this
there you
as
go.
well.
Another abbreviation.
I don't even know what that is. Not what is DSLR? Let's not go into that.
No,
actually.
not
I'm gonna do
relevant.
this just because Luke didn't quite get there.
No, my arm's too short.
It's a lovely looking beer. So please go through some tasting notes for us, boys.
Right,
That's
well, actually-
creamy, isn't it?
It is.
That is so good. Finishing it off, I was worried I'd perhaps left this carbonating too long, because when I was looking up like a few notes about how to do nitro beers at home, Guinness, who like we'll get to later, like the gurus of doing this style beer, use a 70-30 split of beer gas, as it's called, and
That's very typical, by the way.
yeah. So this being pure nitro that I have in the tank, I thought I'd try strike up some sort of balance, and maybe that's the reason it's not visually looking so good, as the nitrogen is sort of coming out of solution in the beer. But
I really don't think that's a big problem.
That
man.
it's purely an aesthetic thing, I reckon,
Love-
because you're right. Once you do get to tasting it, it is so soft and silky and smooth. If we move on to the style guidelines, as we do, I thought I'd change things up as well. Instead of me reading them out to you, I'm going to have them in front of me, and I'm going to rely on you two giving me your feedback to see how closely it hits what it's supposed to hit as per what BJCP says. So we can go through it step by step, or even if you want to, give me your first impressions, because that's what
might do that,
BJCP
just
likes
sort
to do as well.
yeah.
So just on all fronts,
On-
let me know
on-
what you think, then we'll go, appearance, aroma,
I
flavour,
hate saying
mouthfeel.
it. On the aroma, I get sweetness. I don't know how better to describe that. I don't get massive hits of really anything. That's a lot of subtle aromas.
I hate doing it as well, because I hate saying hoppy, I hate saying malty, and I hate saying sweet, because
You just knocked out all of my descriptions.
black.
They're the only
and
three
it's
that I have.
Saying
Then I
that,
got colour.
though, right? Like,
But yeah, I like to scratch
Yeah.
a little bit further and try and liken it to something. I know that
Yeah.
even sounds wankier, but it's instead of just saying like, it's hoppy, we know that there's different styles of hops that do
Well,
different
we
things.
were
But
able
like
to do
it-
this like last week
Yeah.
or week before when we were doing some BJ's, like some judging. This to me, it just doesn't.
Doesn't
It's
have
not
anything
jumping
to
out.
give you.
As the head
Like-
goes away, I maybe get a bit of that coffee. Like real man, this is subtle though. It's not a it's not a real.
It's not a big, strong coffee or
No.
anything.
Color's black, not see through at all. When I say black, the SRM is like 110. Fucking, I'm guessing, or whatever
Yeah.
that blackness is.
Keep going, by the way, and I'll sort of
10
recap in order, and we'll
Tan
focus on what
creamy
we
head, like thick.
Yeah.
This is not like when I say cappuccino foam. You can normally see bubbles. This is like someone's put some whipped cream on top, just laid, like literally put like margarine on top, and it's sitting on the top, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's just a
brilliant.
nice smooth colour.
Just to interrupt, do either of you two drink nitro coffee?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't had a lot of it, but I do like it when I've had it.
Yeah, that's something I'm going to sort of look to explore, because it's probably the second use I've ever got out of my nitro tank, and it's got way more capacity left in it. So it might actually be one of those things I have at home, just on like a mini keg.
It does
keep
come
that
out
in
creamy
like the
like
inside
this.
fridge.
Regular bitter coffee, when you
Yeah.
put the nitro through, does give you that weird creaminess. It's
I mean, that's pretty much all
odd.
it is. It's just like a bit of cold brew with
Yeah.
run through the stout spout. So
everything's a bit
that's
dialed
interesting.
back with this. The
Yeah.
flavors even not. I was expecting a lot more from the color and the appearance. I was expecting more flavor. It's really
Yeah.
subtle. Like it's like almost a watered down version. I'd go as far to say as this is like a session Irish stout to me.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's what an Irish stout is.
because there is the second category, which is the Irish Extra Stout, which is
Yeah.
15C, which has the higher ABV.
yeah, so I'd
Yeah.
be saying this would be like 4%,
Yeah.
maybe nothing more.
No.
Maybe even a bit of a heavy sparge on this or something. But
Yeah.
the
4.4 it was supposed to be, and I'm pretty sure we hit the numbers
hit all
for it
the
as well.
numbers,
So
yeah.
you get
Yeah.
again, it's sweeter malt. It's actually more like a white bread instead of like the toastiness that comes through in the flavour. I find
Yeah,
that
it's quite.
weird
It's
to-
not such strong dark flavors like you'd expect.
with the amount of
When you
roast
start
barley
picking up a
going into
stout.
it, like you sort of encroach on that sort of area where it's like, it can get a bit astringent, but it's like like you were saying before, it's more of a dominant, punchy sort of flavour, which you don't really get as much
This is not
in this
bad
beer.
though.
So.
Like
I don't think so either.
I'm not.
It's just-
I'm not getting what I
thought you were.
Thought I was. No, and but from the aroma, the aroma leads into what you'd expect on taste. It's literally like a beer 0.5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pretty easy to drink. It's nothing too strong standing out. You
know what? For guys who like dark beers and like getting a lot of them in you, this won't get you too fucked up. Like last week I was really like shit. Yeah.
When we start drinking the 8%ers, that's why downhill real quick.
Oh man, pint after pint of 8% beer on tap out there, which we can't have tonight, which is good because
it's probably for the best.
My dog's knocked over my CO2 gas.
It's probably me as I was running home last week.
It could have been too. But Mike, tell us how you did with that.
You did pretty well. You hit most of the key descriptors there. We'll just run through it from the top. So what the style guidelines recommend is a pronounced roast flavour. It would be on the bitter end, as opposed to sweeter, though.
I don't really get.
So we probably missed that.
I think we've missed as well.
Yeah.
Is there lactose in this?
No. So on the bitter scale of beers, slightly sweet and medium bitterness.
That's probably right.
Ranging all the way up to very bitter and quite dry. So we've kind of just caught maybe that first sort of
just not enough
range of the
bitterness. That's it.
spectrum.
I think that's
not enough bitterness.
And roast may resemble chocolate or coffee. Aroma, coffee should dominate, though you may get hints of dark chocolate or cocoa or roasted grain.
I get a bit of coffee.
I get coffee.
Yeah. I don't get a lot of chocolate.
No.
Yeah. So that was it. May get to that point.
Maybe like the creaminess gives me the feel that I've got a block of chocolate.
I agree. Actually, yeah. That's the mouthfeel does that more. The mouthfeel's not the coffee. It's the
it's like that
mouthfeel
thick
gives
chocolate milk.
Yeah, chocolate milk.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
And finally, on the aroma, not that it was going to be the case, but hop and ester aroma is not present. Appearance, we want deep brown to jet black. We are
somewhere in there.
We nailed that at least. Thick tan to brown head is characteristic when served on nitro. The flavour we should be getting is a medium roast flavour with medium to high hop bitterness, which I don't think we really get that much of. I don't get the hop bitterness. I get more of the coffee bitter.
Even that's really subdued.
That's missing as well.
There wasn't a lot of hop in this though, was there? There was only
I don't think
60 grams all up.
What was the IBUs? Oh man, this wouldn't be above fucking 10. I wouldn't have thought.
27 it's suggesting, but I always hate quoting that number.
That's a really hard one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where do we get
to? May detect flavours of bitter or unsweetened chocolate, which is actually the chocolate I prefer eating as well. Like that 70%.
Yeah, me too. Actually, that Cadbury shit makes my mouth go.
Some creaminess, no fruitiness. A neutral, minimal, earthy hop flavour may be present. And the combination of bitterness and dryness is left open to the brewer. And it makes a note that there's some regional variation through Ireland where the Dublin-style stouts, including Guinness, should be more of a roast flavour, more bitter, more dry. Whereas Cork, which is the opposite end, or the southern...
Kilkenny, is it?
I think it's near Kilkenny, is more on the sweeter side, less bitter, and will tend towards using chocolate specialty malt instead of the, roast or black pattern, as they call it.
Okay.
And mouthfeel is medium. So I think you got most of that.
Mouthfeel's
probably a bit more medium as well, but that's the nitro. But look, I
don't mind the beer. I don't mind the ABV on it. I always say that I'm not a coffee drinker, but I kind of, if it's meant to be the case, I don't mind getting that sort of extra, which we're not really getting here. So I think we maybe have missed the mark on a few things.
You know what? I don't know. Because as this has started to warm up, I just did... the camera will see, but none of you guys will. I just did a bit of my little craft beer swirl, and as I did that, and I took a sniff, I'm actually getting a bit of like that graininess, like with a bit more coffee. I just looked over at Luke when I did that as well. I gave him the little slight smile. I think we maybe have served this a bit cold. That's all. And
I had the car ride over here calibrated for a particular temperature. I thought I would have got it.
And that's time brew. Look, mate, for an Irish stout, this is this is banging. Like, this is a brilliant beer. We're getting into semantics and we're getting a bit fucking precious here on. We're picking out flaws.
It's not I quite enjoy this beer. I had one out of a bottle that I think in the first bottle of mine that I opened, I hated it and I was ready to tip them out, and then I had a few more and I was like, oh no, I really like this.
This is probably stout 3 or 4 for us, and it's definitely the best one we've made. I found some of the previous ones have had like a bit of a sort of skunky, yeasty sort of like smell, like very minor. But this one is just like it's quite clean on like
it's
all
very
the other
clean.
flavors. Like
Well,
you don't
obviously
get,
well fermented.
any of that sort of other stuff that might sort of throw you. Yeah, I know you won't mind hearing criticism because you're a type of person that wants to get it close to style, and I am as well. But like,
if it's 99%, it's not perfect.
Yeah, you're 1% off.
Got something to fix.
And that's I think we're picking that apart on purpose.
Good.
It's not it's not a picking it apart for the sake of picking it apart.
And this is like hopefully a thing that we will also look to focus more on as we do make these more boutique styles and like learn how to develop different brewing skills to hit different sort of things that we're looking for. So
I just want to also say, if it wasn't for the podcast, I'd have just drank this and fucking loved it. By the way, there would be
you guys keep looking at me like I'll be offended that you guys.
It's a bit weird. It's a genuinely brilliant beer, and we're sitting here and kind of ripping it a bit. And I don't want that to be the case, and I don't want people listening to think that this is not a genuinely good beer. This is us being hypercritical.
And part of this is, and the homebrew challenge is us trying to make BJCP beers
a perfect example of the style.
This is not a perfect example of the style. It's not.
We're not
far off, though.
I'd say it's close. And I think as this warms up,
it's not like I've served a crystal clear lager.
No.
I've just got one more thing that I took out of the notes before we do wrap up section 1. This is taken out of the guidelines once more. When Guinness were first sort of developing this, and there was like the two historical examples of dark beer in the UK where you had the stout and the porter, it was... I don't know the actual date when they started doing this, but it was marketed as the stouter kind of porter.
Ha!
So
a stout.
I guess that kind of works a bit in our favour because it's like, in many ways it's getting closer to a porter, which is kind of what Guinness was saying they were trying to do as well. So that's like, I think that's what makes the Irish stout kind of unique as well compared to like the extra stouts or your American stouts or your imperial stouts and things like that. So
I know, like I've been drinking a few stouts lately. I've got a fridge full of Silverback and red beer stout, which is like, it's very
delicious, good stouts.
But they're also very the flavors are very prominent. So
yeah, I find those sort of beers as well, like high ABV, like super rich. It's like that's the ones where you always see like they work peanut butter in or they work all these weird adjuncts into because they can afford to do it. And I think I'll just
this does what it does. I think it's banging. Luke, brilliant job, mate. And I love that you made this recipe as well. I love that this is yours.
This is where it's building to.
This is what I was hoping to do the whole time, is we look at the BJCP guidelines, we formulate a recipe based on what they tell us, and then we taste it against the commercial example and see how we did.
Yeah.
So,
which I'm very keen to do, by the way. Like with this fresh in the mind, I'd love to crack another Guinness and see how this compares.
And we've got that coming.
We have a commercial example coming of no particular denomination coming. Not Guinness.
Rhymes with Finnis. Thanks, Each, for hanging with us. Are we done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, we're done. We're happy with that.
Thanks, Each, for hanging with us for the first little segment here. We're going to be right back for segment 2. If you're not interested in hearing about Guinness and some fast fun facts with Viking, then skip ahead to segment 3, where we're going on to getting to know Mike and his beers. But otherwise, hang around. We'll be back with you guys shortly. Well, hello and welcome back to segment 2 of Beer and That. This is episode number 207. No, episode 207. We've just got a weird numbering structure. We're on to the commercial equivalent of tonight's show. Luke's just poured a Guinness. Are we saying that yet?
I don't think we've hidden it. We've said Guinness many times throughout.
That's lovely
already.
And cascading, and I am enjoying watching that happen. The commercial equivalent for tonight is a Guinness draft stout. Boys, take it away.
Hope so, Chris.
All right, so I'm in charge of segment 2 tonight, and I've taken a leaf out of Chris's book. We kind of blabbed on a little bit in some of the early episodes of this season, getting into histories and dates and
people just don't seem to care about the history.
It kind of just drags on a little bit. If they don't want to listen,
not cool.
we're doing this for us. So tonight we do have a Guinness. I'm pretty sure it wasn't meant to be a secret, but I kind of gave it away straight up anyway. Cans on the table. I'm just going to go through some cool little fun facts. I've got 11, not 10. So I'm expanding out.
Continuous growth. This
Continuous
is the model
growth,
of...
Yep.
Just wait
Without
till,
growth, yeah.
Wait till season 4 when it's really
I don't know
getting
where I
out
was
of
going
hand.
with that. Anyway.
Banging.
We'll be up to 20 fun facts in no time. Guinness is on the BJCP. It is pretty much is the style guideline for the Irish Stout.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it's number 1 on the list there.
Or it isn't, but that's purely an alphabetical thing. But
all right.
all the rest of them are also hilariously Irish names: Murphy's, Beamish, O'Hara's.
But they're probably the most
McGregor.
well known. So anyway, we're going to get into some little fun facts, not necessarily about the beer specifically, but about the company and stuff.
You're losing me, Luke.
Are you a poet? Such a word.
Not at all.
I think it was a haiku.
So anyway, the company originally leased its Dublin brewery for 9,000 years. So
That seems excessive. If I'm
it does. So Arthur Guinness in 1759,
Arthur Fergus Guinness. Is
he signed.
that racist? That's xenophobic, I guess.
Maybe.
Normally that's the indicator if something's racist, though, if you have to ask if it was
Yeah.
racist.
I didn't mean to. I was just having an
Yeah.
Irish accent, and I do apologise. For
Anyway,
all the Irish
moving
listeners.
on.
Get rich.
He signed for 9,000 years for £45 a year.
What a deal.
And the only reason that's been voided is because they ended up buying the property. So obviously the lease just kind of was superseded. But I don't know.
I love that. Well, why 9,000? Where did you
Just
pull that
3
from?
years in, you sure you wouldn't rather buy it? I mean... You just paid 9,000 years of lease money up front, didn't you?
Fucking A.
They bought it to expand.
Brilliant.
Um,
Good. Fun fact one
cool.
done.
Fun fact one done. They also once had an ale. So the Dublin Ale.
Did one.
They did an ale for a while. So for the first 20 odd years, 40 years. But in 1799 it was dropped. So obviously not doing as well as their
So just
stout.
1800s is fucking going
Yeah.
back to hoppy ales or some shit.
And now- They have a very specific time for the perfect pour of a Guinness. Anyone want to have a guess?
Well, I was hoping number 11 on this list would be that one of the people at this table was actually a certified Guinness pourer from their visit to Dublin, Ireland.
couple
of years ago.
Mike knows the exact answer, but I've probably got
I do, but I'm also echoing one of the flaws in our assessment structure. I was deemed competent at one point, but I have since forgotten. I hold the competency nonetheless. What is it? I know that it's something to do with, like,
30,
you're supposed to pour it...
90 seconds.
closer the second time.
More than 90?
Is this like
More than
how
90.
long it's supposed to rest after
Well,
you've
yeah,
done
it's
the initial
including the
three-quarter
rest. So,
pour?
anyways, this is dragging on.
Well, no.
119.5 seconds. So half a second less than 2 minutes. Very
Does
specific.
it say the thing on there as well, how you're supposed to use an actual Guinness glass, pour it at 45 degrees, and once
Yeah,
it gets to the
it's
half,
got
you
all
then
of that.
tilt it back up. Yeah.
It does have all that, but that's,
I got my certificate.
Yeah.
He knows.
It's
on the
there's 6 official steps. So that's the pouring to the heart, letting it
Is
rest
this
for...
third factor or is this still part of number
No,
two?
that's part of number...
two
No,
beers.
that's part of number 3.
You can't just list all 6 of them and they will be 6 separate facts either, Luke. I want a bit more...
Yeah, but that's all part of one. I'm not going to
Alright,
list all
good.
the facts. I could open the link there, but no, that's all good. The official colour of the beer is actually ruby red as well.
I did also read that on
So
the style
I
guidelines.
knew that one before I was doing my research. So you need to kind of get it into the light on the edges.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
So
a ruby
it's
red
ruby
light if
red.
you have one on the end.
That's straight.
Yep. So
A
that's
lot of red
cool.
lights there.
Guinness is brewed in 49 countries around the world. So that's not necessarily the interesting part of this fact. But all of the ingredients except one are sourced locally.
As
I
in
like
the
that.
country in which they are brewed.
In the country in which they're brewed. But the Guinness extract, which is their secret ingredient, is the one thing that gets shipped in.
I love a secret like that.
They've got a secret
fucking
ingredient
brilliant.
that they
Bit of
put
KFC about it.
in everywhere.
It's just heroin.
This one's like... Okay.
Shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Look,
just leave that
sorry,
out.
mate. Derail.
We'll do that.
That wasn't the answer, though, was it?
All right, on to number 6. How am I going out of first 5?
Yeah, still guys.
All ticks so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big ticks.
Few interesting
We'll leave it up
ones.
to the listener, but
Yeah,
whatever.
it's interesting to us.
They're gone by now. Chris.
This one's probably not that interesting because they're a small country, but Ireland isn't the biggest consumer of Guinness. Okay, they're sitting 3rd.
England, surely.
England is number 1.
Yeah.
Have a guess for number 2.
Sri Lanka.
US.
No. Closer with Sri Lanka.
India.
No, more African, but
Africa.
yeah, Nigeria.
Wow. Really?
That's a
Second.
surprise.
And
I don't know why I laugh at that.
Fun
That's
fact,
like-
I reckon
that's a great
number
fact.
11 may have
That's
the...
a trivia night fact. That
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
the second? Who's the second?
Do you have a
biggest
globe,
consumer
actually?
of
I want to see what's closer to Nigeria
Why
out
the
of the
fuck
US
would I?
and Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka? Why do you guess?
Sri Lanka? Just
Is
because
that-
he was
is
just
that-
recently there.
Right,
So
okay,
Not
yeah.
recently,
Yeah, no,
but that's
well-
what I thought you would.
And that's
I
where
was
he would, of
drinking
course,
a-
be
I was
getting
drinking
all
a
his
line, not
fun
a-
facts from.
Yeah, from my holiday in Sri Lanka. So yeah,
Down the lines in Sri
Nigeria
Lanka.
is, and there's 10 million glasses of Guinness consumed around the world every day.
Every day.
Every day? Is that? Yeah, every day. Yep.
Fucking
I didn't
piss eggs,
misread
mate.
that. Not just in Nigeria, that's around
Piss
the whole
eggs.
world. Guinness was one of the first companies to offer employee benefits, and one of the first employee benefits was all of the dudes that
And dudettes.
and dudettes.
Thank you.
Just can't even read. 1 year before the Great Depression, they were entitled to on-site medical and dental care, and 2 free pints at the end of every shift.
They would look at you too if you had your first one and then you went back for number 2, wouldn't it? They'd be like, hey,
Oi,
Relax, guys.
you're not meant to have them every day. So you're a Friday knockoff drink.
one guy brings a keg as his pint. Fill me up.
And apparently they also paid a lot more, so they were good to their employees, which is good to
I
hear.
love hearing that about
That's
quality
good.
employees. It's like
Yeah.
there's so few companies that you actually want to work for, and that's like beer's one of those things that you kind of do anyway. But to know that they treated their people well was
It's helpful.
why is that so rare?
I don't know. You always hear the stories of people not treating their employees well, but it's good to hear the ones that they do.
Yes, thank you, Vike.
Yeah,
Ah,
just echoing what you said.
yeah.
Didn't add anything new to that at all. Anyway,
Can I just comment quickly on the fucking head on this thing?
yeah, we're going to
Are you
get to
talking
that.
about the beer
Okay.
or?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll do the
the
CBB review after.
Oh, we have
We
got
do.
that.
So I'm trying to
Damn,
make these faster so we can
Sorry,
get
mate.
through.
Let's go.
I've only got 4 to
I
go.
apologise. I'm sorry.
So number 8, we've got the Guinness Harp was one of the first trademarks in the UK.
The Guinness harp.
The harp?
You know-
Yep.
If I'm being real with you, I wouldn't have known there was a fucking harp on there. For some reason, I got a toucan in my head with Guinness.
Yeah. Yeah, because one of their things was a toucan with Guinness
Was it
underneath.
actually?
Yeah. It's at the Irish pub up on... Is it South Road?
For some reason, I can think of
What's
I
the...
think
Nick
toucan with
O'Shea's or
Guinness.
something? I don't know. What's the...
Oh, it's in the
That-
Irish district somewhere.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't want to say anything Irish, just in case.
But yeah, that pub I've got... I know exactly... When you said toucan, I knew exactly why you were thinking
Yeah.
toucan.
I didn't know there was a harp on there.
Yeah. So in 1862, so the harp is a pretty Irish thing, and one of the states wanted to make it one of their symbols, and the patent office said that the state couldn't use the harp as a symbol because Guinness had already taken
Patented it. I
already
love
patented
that.
it. But they come to an agreement that the harp always faces like the opposite way. So whenever there's an official thing with the government, they'll point the harp's facing left, and whenever Guinness have it facing right.
What can Doc Brewing trademark that's going to piss off some states sometime?
I'd say the Nike tick or something like that, but that's upside down.
The word doc.
Doc, yeah, well, that's good.
Cool. So fun facts. Guinness also number 9 now. Guinness promised every British soldier
Just got
a pint of beer on Christmas Day during World War II,
That's rad. I love that.
which quickly became a problem when they realised that most of their workforce was at the war. So they hired a whole heap of people and got all these old retired dudes and ex-war veterans and stuff came in so they could
Brew some beer.
brew some beers and come through on their promise, which they did.
That's awesome, man.
They were able to stay true.
Dude, you got
So-
some wicked facts here. How many you got left?
Wait,
Surely.
can I just
I
say
got
that
two. That's why I-
was the first part of that fact that they gave it to all soldiers?
All
You just said it. Don't
No,
help
every
him.
British soldier.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good, because I was
Don't help him. He
thinking,
said-
God, that's
No,
generous.
you questioned me, so I just had to get my facts right.
That's all right. That's all right. I was just
I'm
gonna, I was only
not
going
the
to make a
most
joke
knowledgeable
about it.
man that just keeps
You
everything
lit-
up here.
You literally just said it. That's all
Literally
I'm
just
saying.
said it.
That's funny.
Well, he just listened to it and he got it wrong. Well,
I thought he was fucking
misheard
with
it. He probably
Oh
was.
no, I was only going to make a joke
Okay.
about which
Okay.
soldiers the Irish were going to be giving beer to.
We gave it to the British ones.
There you go.
Yeah. And this was fun fact for me because the Guinness Book of Records was something that I always loved as a kid. I've had a few.
The holographic
Is that related?
year 2000 version.
Yeah. So.
Is it actually?
Yep. After a hunting trip, Hugh Beaver, the managing director of Guinness,
That's
at
not
the
his real
time,
name.
That's real name.
said it was
Hugh Hungry Beaver.
I think I've seen videos of Hugh Hungry Beaver.
He said that the golden plover must have been the fastest bird in the world because they were out hunting and they saw this bird fly super quick.
Poor decision.
And two, they figured out who was right and who was wrong. It was an argument in the pub after, and he decided from that point he was going to make a book of crazy little records. And
This is where you tell me
To go
the
into the
final
pubs?
fact is the fastest bird in the world.
no,
Oh, Luke, that was your chance.
no, I didn't do the
An
background
African swallow
research.
in it.
Yeah, is that like with the clippity clops on
Yeah,
the?
absolutely it is. We love a Monty Python
We
joke.
love Monty Python. Yeah, and so that he stamped the Guinness name on the cover and put a copy in
There
every
you
pub
go.
so that they could settle some arguments.
That's brilliant.
And did they?
Well,
so
I
Simpsons
was
print
probably
that off
called-
as well again. The
it's
Duff Book of...
Yeah.
There you go.
Didn't realise they just... So, was there
Blatantly.
anyone original writing Simpson stories after season 7, or was that just like...
Everything to be done by the Simpsons already, hadn't it?
Oh... yeah, it's a good point.
All right, number 11.
The
This
Duff
is going to
Book of
explain the Nigerians drinking a lot of Guinness. So Guinness actually created its own superhero in Africa.
They realise
got
it's
a
a
couple-
beer company, don't they?
As part of an advertising campaign,
Captain fucked up.
Guinness created a full-length action movie called Critical Assignment.
I have to look this up, sorry.
It's going to be porn. Don't even.
And that was shown
All
in
I see is
cinemas.
videos for Hugh Beaver.
Well, it's just going to be some dude fucking a beer
Yeah.
can.
What's it called, Luke?
Critical Assignment. And they showed it across cinemas in Africa, and it shows a strong journalist trying to stop a corrupt politician.
Have you ever met a real journalist? About 55 kilos wringing wet, most of them.
Yeah, but no, when he had a pint of Guinness, it gave him superpowers.
That is...
If Mike can find it, he's got it.
Oh, it looks amazing. The lead
What
actor
is
is
his superpower?
the lead actor is called Michael Power.
The more he drinks, the more he forgets. Whenever I drink 4
Oh,
pints
man.
of Guinness, I forget how to drive.
The spin-offs,
couldn't-
the
I couldn't leave
sequels. There's so much potential with this franchise.
I couldn't leave that one out. I couldn't have stopped at 10.
Released
that
in
gets us to
2004. Wow.
2004. Oh,
From 2004. See, that
Fairly
sounds
recent.
like recent history. No, it's not. That's 16 fucking years ago, mate.
yeah, it's half a lifetime ago, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
Gets a 5.2 on IMDb.
We have to watch that now and drink Guinness to it. And we'll just do that as a Twitch stream.
Drink Guinness to it.
All right, so that's my 11 not so fast facts.
That's brilliant. I like that, Luke.
But I thought they were quite interesting. But
That's
now,
much better than
Chris
me.
was trying to skip ahead to that the CBB review side of things.
Can you get
Do you
another-
got another can?
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Sorry, I took too long.
So thank you, Luke. That was I really enjoy that much more than the histories and the shit. That's brilliant.
Yeah, good job,
I've
Luke.
learned a lot about Guinness, and I've retained probably half of that. I'll listen back to this and retain the rest. Now, what we're going to do is our CBB review of the Guinness Draft Stout. That's that's the whole name, Guinness Draft Stout.
Yeah,
Why is it Draft Stout?
because it's the same as what you'd pour at the tap, is what they're saying with the draft.
Okay, so that's just saying that's how it would taste off tap. Okay, now our CBB review is basically five categories what we score a beer in. They are
Completely arbitrary.
Well said. I was going to list them. Overall impression, sessionability, accessibility, price, and a final CBB factor.
that CBB factor is somewhat of our opinion.
Even more arbitrary.
Yeah, in an already meaningless
Scale.
It's like the lines in the car park at the far corners of a supermarket. No one really gives a shit. They park wherever they want. That's this CBB review.
Pretty much the lines in any car park.
Seen a lot.
There's some bad parks out there. Hey, overall impression. What are you getting for colour?
Overall impression, boys. All right, we've got...
Actually, it's probably a good segue to quickly compare this back to our homebrew.
Yeah.
So,
real quick as well.
Now, the head's the same, in my opinion, on both beers.
Creamy.
Yeah.
If we won't compare it to the homebrew because we haven't done that previously.
Yeah, we have.
Have we?
Yeah, that was like
Are you
the
sure?
But
whole...
just like real quick, because we haven't done it in this section
I
yet.
thought we were doing... Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
So we're not going on this. Same black colour. Everything in appearance is the exact same as the homebrew. It's lovely thick head that's lasting. Lovely black. Cannot see through.
Ruby red.
Ruby red. Actually, if you hold it up to the light, you can see it's actually ruby red.
This is the section to do it as well. And we were talking before about how our homebrew could have been a little bit more coffee-ish. I don't think it's too far off the Guinness.
No.
That's exactly what you're saying.
The bitterness and the dryness is where the homebrew misses compared to this.
Yeah.
I get straight away the first little sip. I get bitter, like not smack your face bitter, but compared to the homebrew, I get at least some bitterness, and
some hot bitterness,
some
yeah,
floral, some
earthy,
spiciness.
yeah.
On the nose, it's still pretty cold. There's a slight bit more aroma in this. Straight away, that came through my sniffing.
Sniff the beer, not the mic.
Yeah. Again, similar aromas though.
Yeah.
Not
very
not
subtle.
Jumping at you. Everything's really subtle.
Yeah.
And again, it's been such a long time since I've had a Guinness. This is when I said yours was beer 0.5. This is beer 0.5 to me.
Yeah,
really
4.2%. I was just having a look. It's pretty fucking close.
It's no wonder
it's not far from
that
it.
you can smack the hell out of this. Like we were saying about yours, it's just you can drink the shit out of this.
Drink a few of these.
So, do we give it a 1 for that?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a 1.
Yeah.
It's if it's an Irish stout.
If that's what an Irish stout's meant to be, that's...
It lingers a bit as well, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I've had a sip and I've kind of let it sit there for a bit. And
a bit more of that graininess
yeah.
and that roastiness. It's yours with a little bit more. That's it. There's just,
You know
just
what it
a
is?
little bit more.
Take
You know
a
what it
little
is?
step up.
That extract, that secret extract.
Oh, well, that was the other thing. One thing that I didn't want to put on the facts because I couldn't get it from a reputable source, but I've read it heaps of places.
Reputable source, Chris?
Guinness.
Only reputable source around here
apparently,
is tomato.
Guinness has 3% souring, and we didn't do any souring.
I thought that was
in
going to be
ours.
one of your
Yeah.
facts,
So
but-
I'd like that's something that I've read
How
from
do I calculate 3% souring?
because they add 3% soured wort or like what I've-
Acidulated malt, you mean, or is that?
No, as in like
No.
they will produce something on the side which is like
Really?
kettle
Well,
soured and
yeah.
blend it with a level
or
of
they'll
3%.
take out some of last batch and just leave it to be naturally soured.
Why don't we do that this time when we brewed it? We'll
Yeah.
do it when we make the extra
No,
stout.
because
We'll
we
do
didn't,
that.
we didn't think about it. But a lot of home brewers, what they do is they'll get a can of Guinness and just put it in a bowl for 3 days, and you leave it for 3 days just covered, and then you pour it into your
That's disgusting.
wort just before it goes into
Fuck
the boil.
you
Is
for
my imagination running wild there?
Okay.
Cool.
So, big tick for that.
Big tick, yeah.
Accessibility.
Sessionability first,
Sessionability.
actually. We're
Tick.
tick, yeah.
In my opinion.
I think
Mine.
you could drink these.
What's he? Hang on, he's looking away.
Go to woe. What?
I was just basking in your fun facts from before while you glossed over that last one. Next one, accessibility.
I couldn't have 12.
45
No,
countries.
sessionability.
Oh, session. No,
Sessionability.
we're on to the next one is what I'm saying.
Oh, so yeah, so you tick for sessionability, is it? Or,
Yep.
Yeah.
Agree
Okay.
with sessionability?
Yeah.
Accessibility.
I'll fucking drink the fuck out of this.
It's
No.
only available in 150 countries around the world. You're going to
10
struggle
million pints a fucking day, apparently.
a day. Yeah.
So, what's after that? Price.
Price. Oh, it's...
What?
Oh,
What
no,
would we
Chris,
be
you're
happy
on the
to pay?
spot. You bought a 4-pack?
I bought a 6-pack.
6-pack. All right,
What
Chris.
would you be
What are you
happy to
paying?
pay
A
for a
6-pack
six-pack?
of 440s.
Genuinely, a 6-pack of this, I'd be happy to pay
They're
30
440s, by the way.
$32.
22.
Got to be under that, yeah.
$22.
$22 for a
That's
6-pack.
surprisingly good.
I reckon I got a carton of this
Am I thinking
a
too
year
far into
ago for
craft
like
there?
$45.
Possibly.
I don't expect to get much change back from $40 when I buy a 6-pack of anything.
Yep.
Not a mix 6 or big tall crafty boys. That's $35. I'm thinking. So I was thinking not craft, maybe $22 for
$22.
We're gonna fuck
And it was-
craft beer right off.
It was
and just get on with
$4.50
this.
for a single can or something.
$4.50 for a can.
Between, like-
440 mil.
Yeah, something like that. $5 or something. I don't know. Whatever it was, I read the label quickly. But yeah, they were always going to massive macro brewer. They can
I know.
do
I
things
forgot
cheap.
about that actually for a
Yeah.
little bit. But
But
no,
again, it's a good beer.
Even
It's a
20,
really good
even
beer.
$25 for like for a 6-pack is like fucking rad. So
Yeah.
$22 for a 6-pack
Kicking
of
goals.
440s actually.
Yeah, 440. So,
Fucking Christ, that's cheap as piss. I'm not brewing beer anymore. Actually, I'm just drinking.
It's funny, like when we had that realization after the Hoegaarden, when that was the first beer to get the 5 stars on the CBB score, we're like, oh man, this is actually a thing that, there actually are well-made beers that are outside, the typical Australian style lager that goes for, very similar
We
prices.
must be real naive, eh? Like we're probably still. I want to listen back to this in like 5 years and just be like,
well,
fuck.
even if we listen
We
back
didn't
to
know.
season 1, we're
Don't do
disappointed
that.
in ourselves.
Oh, nice. Thanks, man.
Look at that after a sec. Oh yeah.
Cool.
we-
So
we-
at the moment, we're running 4 from
4
4.
for
4, that's pretty.
CBB factor.
I think all things considered, the backstory, the history, like the interesting little bits that come with Guinness as a brand, the fact that it's nitro in a can, and the fact that it is like, a commercial, guideline that is internationally recognised. It gets a tick from me. I don't know what you guys
They won
think.
me when they patented the fucking harp. So
I was more happy that they've
state government
that they started the book to fucking settle pub bets.
Yeah,
that is-
that's what I mean. There's like some cool
You know
things
what the other
that
thing?
these
you,
guys
you
have
can
done.
become a certified pourer. There's a way to do it. That's. And I'm gonna.
Oh my god! I'll wrap this up by saying one of the most. It brought tears to my eyes, and like the storehouse in Dublin, which is like one of the most touristy things you can do in Dublin. It's like a massive tour through the brewery. They have like everything so well laid out. You do like a self-guided tour. Then at the end, it sort of culminates with you getting like a one-on-one experience of pouring your own Guinness to finish the whole day off with. And the amount of Guinness sitting in half-filled pints I saw in that bar killed me.
Why?
Oh, people just go up there, they take a video of
they
themselves
wanted to
pouring,
take
they'll
a
have
video.
one sip and they'll just leave it sitting on the table and someone just literally comes around and clears all these.
That's a dick move, isn't it?
Oh
Yeah.
man.
I'd be spewing about that if
Yeah.
it was my beer.
You're
drink
putting
it and throw
effort
it
into
back up
making your
later.
beer, and then
Yeah.
See,
Don't.
so I do like that though. In that the last episode, I was talking about how Corona have a particular way of
A bit of something
drinking their
going
beer.
on,
They
yeah.
have a cool way. Like our beer's nothing. You put a lime in it, and that's the way we drink the beer. We've made a way. I love that they've done that. I think this is a big tick. This is
Yeah.
Another
Another 5-star.
yeah,
5 from
even
5.
just having the nitro in the ball in the can, love it. So quickly to recap, overall impression: it is the style. They got a 1. Sessionability, you're smashing a few of these. Accessibility, get it everywhere. Price, dirt cheap.
dirt cheap.
CBB factor, their history just speaks volumes for how they're like pioneers, really.
Yeah, I like that.
They're
I like that a lot.
pioneers. So it's not necessarily modern craft, but it is what they've done is they love and have crafted a good beer.
5 out of 5. Fighting
Golden
Irish.
Harps.
All that.
I was thinking Golden Harps, but Fighting Irish is Conor McGregor's.
Fighting Conor McGregor's. What are they? Greg McConnors will go from now on. So that's segment 2 wrapped up, boys. What do you reckon? That was a pretty cool little segment. I actually really enjoyed that. A little bit of Guinness history, some fun fast facts with Papa Luke. Not yet, maybe.
No, maybe. I don't know.
We don't know.
One day.
And a bit of a CBB review. I should probably put those out as well. The ones we do on here. Just
We need like a
thinking
bit of a
out loud.
leaderboard or something to
Yeah.
sort of.
I've got that on the website coming.
Yeah.
it's all
So-
up there already.
Yeah.
I'm putting fucking hours in. Anyway, we're about to go through to segment 3. If you are still keen to hang with us and get to learn a bit about our head CBB contributor, besides obviously Papa Yak. This is Dudley's. Dudley, we're going to learn about Dudley
And his beer journey.
and his beer journey through craft.
You're going to laugh at me, I can tell already. You're not going to go easy on me, some of my beer selections, but
I'm
it'll
so
make for a
curious.
good segment, I promise you that.
Hang around. We'll be back in about. They don't have
Well-
the 5-minute wait, do they?
If you pause it for 5 minutes, we'll see you in
Pause for
5.
5 was.
Go get yourself a beer.
Hello and welcome back to segment 3 of Yeah Beer and That. This is number 207. We've got segment 3 coming through tonight now. If you're fresh and you've skipped ahead, this is the segment where we learn about our contributor Mike, the Duddles. He's going to give us 3 beers, Luke.
Yeah.
Tell us what they are.
So the 3 beers, the first one that's coming up is his craft gateway beer. I had to say that slowly because I knew I was going to stuff up a word there. So we've got a craft gateway beer, a desert island beer, and a guilty pleasure beer coming up for you guys tonight. And these are Mike's examples of those.
I just realised that I don't think... Did we ever show the camera?
We never showed the camera what a Guinness can looks like. But if
I'm
you
just
want to see
gonna
the golden harp...
Just because we do get some followers and views on the YouTubes. Not many, but that's because we get the majority over on Spotify and iTunes. For those listening, please like and subscribe and comment. If you actually would, while we're waiting, if you would like to actually leave us a review, regardless of good or bad, any feedback really puts us up higher in the algorithm. So we would love to. Have you guys even reviewed it yet?
Yeah, I reviewed it.
Okay, good.
I said it was the best thing since sliced bread or something. I don't know.
The 5 reviews we have for all of us. So please feel free to give us a review and tell us how shit we are. But thank you, Mike. Please go ahead.
Yeah, don't mind me. I was just on the side pouring all these beers. Now, this is probably a good point of reflection as well. Why I'm going through my 3 beers. We can also go back and Chris, you can talk about what yours were if you remember them. So this whole thing about describing ourselves in 3 beers was kind of to tell a story about how we got to the point we are at the moment and sort of, all the stuff that's happened in the interim. And I think like the point I wanted to do with this beer is like how you went from smashing, Tui's extra dryers when you were 17 years old to getting to something a little bit different. So I think, what was your craft gateway? Was yours Stone and Wood Pacific Ale?
Yeah, Chris was Stone and Wood.
Yeah, and so something I wanted...
was the first craft beer I think I put out.
Yeah.
So not my gateway, but it was my first.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that as that. I was like, fuck, this is different.
So I thought I would do honourable mentions for each category as well, because I was like really, really thinking about this and trying to, decide what the best representation would be. And that Stone and Wood Pacific Ale is one of my honourable mentions. The other one is Cooper's Pale. And I find like no matter in what conversation Cooper's is in, it's always like the outlier, I feel. Like I was always drinking Cooper's regardless, and I consider it to be a very good beer, but I don't think it really sparks my interest in craft beer the way that this beer did
for a South Australian. Cooper's is mainstream. It's
standard fare sort of
You're
thing.
not drinking it and going, oh shit, I'm going to get onto craft beers. You're drinking it.
If anything, it makes you like Cooper's more.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something that I'm hoping is not going to bite me in the ass right now. This tastes a bit mainstreamy to me.
It does. To me, I was going to say the same.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is like, for as much as I'm saying that
I don't know.
Cooper's gets the honourable mention, I think once I do explain why I chose this beer, it'll make a little bit more sense. And
I've had this. I've definitely had this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm searching through my brain to find what it is. I can't think of crafty.
Is there a bit of like honey sort of flavour coming through?
By today's standards of craft, this really has no place in the craft discussion. But the reason I have decided this is my beer is because when I found out about this, I then found out about all the other beers that they also did. And that got me trying beers that I had never had before. And that got me exploring beer as a different style.
I've got a photo in my
whereas
head.
like most of the macros do like one main beer.
Should we actually describe this beer for the people listening? So this beer is a lovely straw to gold colour, clear as crystal, lovely white tight head, bubbles, the upside down snowstorm coming through. So kind of macro-y to me.
It's more malt driven.
Yeah,
and it's got almost like, how you have those like macro lagers that have like the sulphury sort of twang on the aroma at the end. This gets a bit of that as well, I feel. It's not a lager, it's a pale ale.
Pale ale is, pale ale, but no, it's definitely a pale ale, but it's not like an American pale ale. This is like almost an Australian pale ale. You know the difference? Like the American pale ales get a bit more orange and a bit more hop, right? Whereas this is the dialed back hop, but still got there's still malt. I really like this beer. As well,
it's not bad, hey?
I'm guessing a larger brewer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I fucking don't know what it is either.
I don't know what it is.
Right, so what if I was to tell you that when I...
Don't yet.
Okay, all right.
Because the one that's come into my mind, and I think it's wrong because of the colour, but I got Little Creatures as a bigger brewer. This kind of gives me the Furphy vibe a bit, but it can't be Furphy because it opened you up to other beers.
Yeah.
But I'm getting
The
that
only other
kind
one
of
would
level.
be, for me,
It's
would
so
be
funny
the
as well because
Squire.
maybe they should have got an
James
honourable
Squire,
mention.
but I don't think it's the 150 lashes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It is?
No, I don't know. Fuck.
I didn't think it was. I thought
No,
the 150 lashes was more hoppy than this.
No, it isn't.
It isn't?
No, it isn't.
Okay.
You know what's more hoppy? That's why you go to the chances and the fucking...
Yeah.
It's always fun when you're not the person being tortured
Fuck,
and forced to
this
guess.
is really hard because it's
So
not,
I don't know what it is, but
All right.
I don't think it is. Or
it's not a Furphy.
Just to make it even tougher, it has been said. And when I did learn about this brewer, I then learned about the other styles, which included an amber ale, a porter, a stout, a golden ale.
Little Creatures.
It's not Little Creatures.
No, yeah, Squire.
they're both. But so it's not Little Creatures. This is it. Is this a one?
This is 150
One
lashes.
fifty.
by
There you
James
go.
Squire.
Okay.
And that was
was wrong.
purely it. It got me. I've never had an amber ale before after that, and it got me into. It was almost like a Pokemon thing where I'm like, oh, they do all these other ones. I better taste all of those and complete the set. And
Amber Ale was almost my gateway one.
This is
I was going to do
the only
Amber Ale as
reason.
my gateway one, but I only tried the Amber. I only got the Amber Ale because I was already onto that chain of thought. So similar to what Michael's gone with here, it's not
Do
the
you know
one
how
that got
unlucky
me.
you are that you picked James Squire this week? Because we talked about this last week about how James Squire 8 years ago or whatever, 8 years ago, was the beers that got us into craft.
Yeah.
So that was in
it's
the
funny that you say
forefront.
Little Creatures because I completely overlooked them as well. But they were the ones also at the time where you had this like one shelf at the bottle to choose from of your craft beers that you wanted to
That's
get
why
into.
I thought maybe they
Yeah.
got the Little Creatures, but the colour's different on the Little Creatures.
Yeah.
But
Haven't had one of these for a while. But
you know where
it's,
they serve this on tap? At
everywhere.
the Palais is where I was thinking though.
Yep.
And that is
They used to have the different Squires in all the states as well. So we have the Curious Squire.
we talked about that already with us
Yeah.
doing the chicken wings and
Yeah.
the fucking hot wings. But dude,
Keep
that's-
going, guys. It'll
yeah.
give you a bit of time just to finish that one. I'm going to get your next one
Okay.
prepared.
I'm actually really I'm weirded out that we got that one. To be honest with you, that was not easy.
You
I
did
was
a
kind
very
of
good
thought-
job.
Well, I think what gave it away was when you said it sparked my interest in other beers. So
Yeah,
that,
that's
so
kind of
it
what got me.
tastes macro, but as soon as you said sparked my interest in other beers, you're just going, well,
It couldn't be much else.
it couldn't
like-
be like the
especially because of how long you've been drinking craft. You've
Yeah.
been drinking craft longer than any of us, really. And so there wasn't a lot in my mind that it could have been besides those bigger boys who have gotten, and that's why when it was Furphy, that's why I went to Little Creatures, like Furphy Little Creatures, that whole genre. But the James Squire they make some wicked beer, man. Hey?
They do, yeah.
5 out of 5 for the
Yeah,
Broken Shackles.
for the
like that.
broken shackles, which it pained us to do.
You know what? We used to do this, right? So you should all do this. It's we had a lot of fun before we did this podcast, which was a couple of years ago now. We used to get together and basically blind taste beers, and we try and guess not only the style but the brewer and the beer. It's fucking difficult.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm still kind of a bit shocked that we got that.
Well, it was a team effort there.
That was both of us
So
working
you were
together.
looking,
I was definitely leaning towards
Yeah.
Little Creatures, to be honest with you.
and I only said 150 lashes because I don't know that many.
As soon as you
beers.
said that was
Yeah.
it for me.
And I thought it wasn't that.
Yeah.
And you were locked in. So.
Yeah. So what
Teamwork.
we kind of do, by the way, is I know I've put these sheets up online, but I'll release it again. Maybe
You
with
said
this
that last
podcast
time
comes
you're
out.
going to put the bloody sheets
No,
on.
they are online.
Oh,
They're
they are.
online.
You
You can download them.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
free. It's everything we do is free. All of that
I'll go on the
content
website.
will always be free. By the way, some people don't.
We do this for
do.
fun, not because we're good at it.
Yeah. So it's basically we do a bit of a visual, the colour and the head, a bit of an aroma, a bit of a taste, a bit of a mouthfeel, and then a bit of an overall. And then you try and kind of put it all together and get the beer. So we're just knocking back this 150 lashes, Mike. That's a wicked beer to get you into craft.
Yeah, and for good reason. That's kind of got me into it broke the mold of the lagers that I had been drinking and made it a lot more
Tell
approachable.
us a bit more about
and-
150. Let me shut up for a bit. So I can...
Oh, I don't really have much more to say about it. Like, I was almost going to give you the clue that this is still getting decent commercial advertising time. Like, as little as, I don't know, a week ago I saw an ad for it, and yeah, I think an incredibly popular beer, and also, like very well priced for, what it is compared to what you're getting for.
It's
like,
kind of
compared to other craft beers.
Everyone drinks too a little bit. It's not even just like even Jake and we use Jake.
Yeah.
Jake's Luke's brother, who is a staunch
Super dry, man.
Hans Super Dry fan.
West End. He loves
He'll even encroach into James Squire territory, and he.
It seems less wanky than drinking a lot of other craft beer, I must say. Like, that's when I say
Well,
it's
the wank
approachable.
factor.
Yeah.
when you wouldn't expect someone to drink a craft beer, they'll quite often go, "Oh, how good's this James Squire stuff?" Or like how good's the 150 lashes? Yeah, how good is this? It's like, you don't like craft beer, but you like this.
So, Mike, what's this beer? We've got another beer served up to us.
Alright, so this is number 2 in the list. This is the Guilty Pleasure. This is the one... I remember when Chris was doing it, I'm like, if you're so inclined, you don't actually have to tell us which one it is if you are that embarrassed by it. But I'll go at it and I'll let you guys guess and I'll reveal it at the end. And again, honourable mentions will go to other beers, but I will mention them so as not to give you any sort of advantage for guessing.
Mine was a VB.
It's that sort of beer that you're talking like, it's, by no means really a crafty beer, but you don't mind, if you're at a pub that's not going to have anything else on offer,
this is your
go-to.
This is your
when we thought the
available
last one
everywhere.
was clear.
Yeah, no.
Jesus Christ, that was a hazy. This is a clear beer. Upside down snowstorm to fuck. It's not as tight, the white head, but it still bubbles up. It's very nice.
Tastes just like I remember. Again, this is a beer that I haven't had for a while.
No, we've been brewing so much and doing so much craft beer. And it's kind. I like kind of going back to those guilty pleasures a bit. And
Just to see what it's like.
Having a sixer of VBs.
This is closer to what I remember compared to the 150 lashes.
Now, I'm getting a bit of honey on the top there, like as in Kolsch style honey flavours and aromas. Not flavours, sorry, I've only had a sniff.
I'm getting something nutty on the flavour. Is that just me?
That's a nice beer to me as well. I don't actually hate that at all. Look,
but you know what's coming as well.
Gives...
This is going to be a beer that goes for $45 a case. And
it makes me
everywhere.
shrivel up my face when I drink it because I think of sculling the rest of your beer before you go to the toilet in town. And you just start spitting in the toilet, and you're just going to have a bad
you get a lot of that
day.
corn come through.
Yeah,
at the
you get
end.
some adjunct in there.
So the first sip is it's very watery, but
it's not completely without flavour. You get some. There's something to it. It's not like the Corona that we had a couple of episodes ago.
Corona is water. That was it.
That's just water.
This does have
coloured water.
It's not at the front. It's once you've had a swig and it sits. But it is more adjuncty than malty to me.
Yeah.
I get corn, that DMS flavour. It's not DMS, but it's that type.
Yeah. I often say it's sulfury. When you crack one of those beers and you can smell it straight out of the can, and it's real concentrated coming out of the hole, and you're like, I don't get it with this.
This isn't of our super carton, the amazing carton we bought once. I reckon the face gave it. We bought this carton.
I tried not to give it away there, but I think you're onto it.
We bought this carton of Macro that and it was just the best carton of beer we've ever had. It was.
You've got it. You might as well say what it is.
Oh, Chris hasn't.
I've got nothing.
Oh,
okay, it's not familiar to me. I don't know if I've.
I gave it away.
Have I had this?
Oh,
definitely.
100%. Yeah.
Would you say it's the pride of South Australia, West End?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Look.
Super dry.
It's Han Super Dry.
No, West End has to be the pride of South
Oh,
Australia.
no. I'm saying, do you think
that's I don't think this is West End. No.
Yeah.
Is this Han Super Dry?
Yeah, Han Super Dry.
You know what? Because I've only ever drank this out of the brown bottles, I was expecting something a lot darker.
Have I got news for you? Green bottles
I know, yeah, they changed.
Why'd they do
and
that?
they went from... They used to have the cool little questions on the back, and then they went with...
You know what? Now you've said Han Super Dry. That's that adjunctive flavour at the end. You know when you're having a bit... You can be 12 in and it tastes the same.
Yeah.
I don't like this as much as...
I like West End better now.
Yeah, me too.
Really?
But
yeah.
But
Han Super Dry has a place in my heart.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely a lot of nostalgia going on with why I've chosen this as my guilty pleasure. And
you also just stole my guilty pleasure for next week.
I was about to say, you got a tough going third. And I didn't want to repeat myself. That's why I didn't really go for Pacific Ale for my gateway, because I've...
You guys
but then I'm still on your gateway idea.
You want, but
No, I set the rules for this game.
But again, because I've had Han at the Super Dry at the pub, This does not. This is the. Did you pour it out of the bottle or what's the go?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you didn't pour it out the tap.
Well, they do have cans, but
Yeah. It just seems really clear and light to me. Like
I remember when I
compared to
first
what
started
remember.
drinking super dry as well. It was like tasted super like carbonic and had that bite to it. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to struggle getting through this. And it was literally a matter of a couple of years before, Luke and I were comfortably splitting a carton, half a cheesecake, 4 litres of ice cream, and 2 bags of chips, watching a single game of footy. Yeah,
That's the Sam Hannaford influence, we call that. I don't hate this at all. I don't hate this. It's not.
it's more the idea of you drinking a super dry that is to be hated. I feel, and that's what sort of brings
But
the shame to your guilty
when I
pleasure.
go to the Santa Fe, right? Which to all of our listeners in we've got Victor's we've got listeners all over Australia and into America. The Santa Fe is so if you're in America, the NFL's like
State league.
state league.
Probably worse than college.
Worse than college, absolutely.
Yeah.
When you go to Santa Fe, it's meat pies and rubbish
Racial
beer.
abuse.
And absolutely, it's unbelievably bad.
Like, you can't see what I'm doing down here.
No, I can't.
But,
and I'm looking away.
Yeah, I'm looking at Luke. I'm gazing into his eyes.
Right. Beautiful, isn't it?
But do you know how many of these fucking super dries we drank at your house at Hoskin, right? That was just
I've
carton
had
after
so many
carton
of these
after carton.
smashed in my living room at Hoskin.
It was disgusting. I don't know how I didn't pick that either. How did I pick a 150
But you've
and
had
not
so much
this?
other stuff
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
between. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just,
I haven't
it
had a
just comes
super
through.
again. Like I said, this
very
would
corn.
be
I didn't
mine.
know.
I'm going to have to find another one for next time.
You know,
but
if I was going to have a guess, it would be a Bud Light. That's
I
what
was,
I thought.
I was
you were
going to
gonna
say Bud, but then I was like,
I was almost.
I
gonna
just
choose that
me
as
and
well.
Mike drank so much super dry. I think I feel like I had a bit of an advantage here because we drank a lot of super dry all the time. We'd always just get a carton of supers.
That's what I used to get though.
Yeah.
Until
But I don't know where VB.
was
I've never
26
seen you
years
drink
old,
a VB in your life, and you said VB was your guilty
You know
pleasure. I'm
what?
like, how the
you know who would see me drink a VB? Me and Simo.
Yeah.
Right? Simo was my apprentice. He's on the show a little bit when he decides to rock up. Every night after work, we'd get a
We miss you,
six-pack.
Simo.
Oh, Simo. We get a 6-pack of VB, regardless. That's why. It was just nostalgia
Yeah,
for me. Me and
yeah.
Simo driving home after a 12-hour fucking day, nailing three grenades and.
This was my post-baseball beer for so long, and I think again, a bit of
You
nostalgia.
attach something else to it, don't you?
It was my footy beer. It was my town beer. It was my pub beer. It was my everything beer.
Safe bet
So-
has always been a safe
Yeah.
bet.
You know what you're getting. And
I'm
we
just-
found a super carton one time.
I think
Yeah,
I'm
oh
done
my
with that.
God.
I'm not in a rush to drink that ever again, to be honest.
No,
No, it's set.
there's so much better flavours.
Now we've learned.
So now we're culminating to my favourite bit, which is the Desert Island beer, which I sort of... The idea here was if you only had the chance to drink one beer for the rest of your life,
You've
stuck on a
got-
desert island, this is the beer it's got to be.
'Cause
And,
Mike and I have known each other since we were, 3 or 4 years old, right?
right.
I don't have any fucking idea what this could be.
But I kind of, I just came back to the mic here while I was going to pour this because I want to set this up because before it even gets poured, there's going to be some laughter. If you were to describe me, Chris, and my taste in things, not just beer, what would you say?
This is what I mean. So this could be a stout. It could be a sour.
I was thinking
It
it's
could-
going to be a sour.
It could be a fucking... It could be
Could- oh,
fucking anything.
It could be a lager. Is it something? It's probably a very European.
Yeah, it could
like
be
a
a
Heineken.
Belgian beer, I'm
or a
thinking, as
Belgian,
well,
yeah.
is on the list. It could... I have no... Because if you want to get... See, you could want to get
He's
fucked
pouring
up
my
real
stout
quick.
on the nitro. It was that
I
good.
genuinely have no fucking idea.
No,
I'm just waiting for a lull in the
it could be anything.
conversation.
Go.
Go. Ooh.
Fuck off. He's popped the cork. If this is champagne, I'm leaving. That's it. I'm done. Podcast over. We're never doing this again.
He and again where we say he likes the sours, the
So you
like the
think this could
lambics and stuff are quite sour. So
Okay.
I'm
So
thinking it could be.
He's corked it.
He's
right?
not having a broad himself.
What I'm thinking is maybe who does that? Cascade do a lot of corked beers.
Yeah.
Apothecary Ales do a lot of corked beers.
You know more than me because I'm lost already.
It's gonna be soured properly, not kettle soured. It's gonna be aged.
aged.
Here we go. It's dark.
Oh.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Okay.
So there has to be a bit of an
farmhouse.
asterisk before we get too far into this, because I did say what is the beer it has to be. This style of, or this particular beer, like brewer, etc., represents a very niche style of beer that's is kind of done a fair bit, but like to me the brewer of it doesn't matter, because if you're making this style of beer it's really going to miss the mark, and that's why I've chosen a really good one tonight, which is also
Horse hay.
Horse hay on the nose.
So complex. It's got some like barrel notes to it as well. It's actually been barrel aged. It is.
There's oak on the nose.
Yeah.
That sourness is lovely. The colour is an amazing, almost like a magenta colour with like it goes into what's called garnet. I think at the bottom, doing some wine tasting and stuff, where it's that browny orange. Very sour. You get
but it's not just like
salivates at the end.
It's not like the lactic acid is just going to sit on your teeth and it feels like it's rotting. It just like sits all through your mouth, and
this is brilliant
it's
through
more
the
like
whole.
throat sour.
We said sour when we
that was like a higher chance, and I'm not surprised it's one of these really well made aged. It's going to be someone that just loves.
Oh fuck!
And just to like
what a fucking beer this is.
To reflect on your 3 beers as well. The thing about you only get to drink 1 beer for the rest of your life, and when you chose Sierra Nevada Pale, which is a beer that I fucking love as well, I had the image of you sitting there absolutely pissed on an island going through 24 of these a day, where I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to die on this island, I'm going to have 1 beer a day, I'm going to savour it, and...
going to love every sip.
This isn't a beer for all occasions by no stretch, the way that sort of, the Sierra Nevada is, but like...
What's that big 3 on the fucking bottles? What is that? What is that brand? I don't know right now.
I don't know.
Fontaine.
Is it Fontaine? I don't know. This is... You know what this reminds me a lot of? The Supti.
Yeah,
I was going to say that.
Without the rye and the that juniper like flavour. The nose is lovely.
So is this you guys guessing the style, by the way, or are we sort of just concluding that I've chosen something completely fucking obscure and off the chart?
The lambics and goos that I've had, this would be down that path. From memory, have been lighter, like in colour.
Well, it kind of sits in that family of Belgian sours.
Yeah, Belgian sour family. Belgian aged sours.
It's a little bit different, but we're going to plug the Belgian Beer Cafe again, because every time I go there, I'm guaranteed to at least get this.
Lambic, is it?
Or it's a lambic. It's So it's Creek, which is the sour cherry lambic family.
Yeah,
of which this is like a barrel aged.
We said this about your birthday as well. Fucking a Creek. Why didn't I say Creek?
See, I
don't know who this is.
I wouldn't expect you to guess it either, because it's done by a couple of like really good like Belgian brewers. Like Lindemans is the one that always springs to mind. I think Bacchus do one as well.
Fuck, that's a really nice beer.
But
man.
yeah, like every time I go to the Belgian Beer Cafe, I love it. I fucking always get a pint of it. It's nowhere near like the complexity of this, but I love the cherry flavour. I love the sourness of it.
Is that the colour from the cherry?
Potentially. I mean, this very particular one we're looking at probably has... You might pick up a little bit of darker colour from the aging process and having it sit on wood for a little bit of time. But the one that you normally get, the Creek that I'm used to drinking, is a little bit brighter than this. Sort of almost a bit more like hot pinkish.
As you have a sip, right, you take it down, your mouth does that.
Like the puckery.
On its own. That's not because it's a face puckering sour, it's because you salivate. Like, it's it's obviously really acidic. I don't know who makes this. But Lambic is the guess. Go, it's a Creek.
Yep.
I've never even heard of a Creek.
It's the sour cherry version of a Lambic with a... Fuck, what's the raspberry one called? Framboise?
Oh, Framboise. Yeah. So when I made my Saison, I called it a Framboise Saison du Francais or whatever it was, because it was a French Saison with raspberries.
Full circle, this is actually the beer that Chris got me for my birthday this year. So I've had heaps of Cascade beers before, so you are bang on. It's so funny because every beer tonight has been guessed before I even had a chance to go through it. I'm like, fuck, I hope they don't actually land on that and guess
it. Man.
Did we guess the one before we went through it?
Or no, you were talking about how like Jake Hannaford, he's a super dry drinker. He's a West Ham. I'm like, fuck, they're gonna be onto this then.
Barrel-aged red ale with cherries, dude. Fucking rad.
So yeah, that kind of wraps up my 3 beer story. I think like
Cascade is a house of sour.
by the first 2 beers being very middle of the road, very sort of straight edge sort of stuff, I had to throw my own spin and do something weird for the last one. So props to you guys. I'm glad you enjoy it as well.
On your little island.
Oh man,
You don't
there's
want
more
that?
for me on this
No,
island.
I like it, but I wouldn't drink this every day.
I don't think I could.
I know it's a really, really well crafted beer.
That's fucking so good, man. I like that from the first sniff to the to the last sip. It's a 2016 Creek, by the way.
Yes, that's the other thing about lambics. Often very advertised about how long they've been aged for, or if they've been blended, what the sort of split is.
Should work on something like this, so
I do like that.
We are working on
More information.
commercially.
Ah. Well, I've got something. I've got something bubbling away at home that's 3 years away.
If we can make a little bit more each year, eventually we'll have a commercial amount. As long as we don't drink too much of it.
So, boys, that's the getting to know Mike. You know what? They kind of surprised me with those 3, but they're 3 really cool beers, man.
Thanks.
I wouldn't have picked the Cascade.
You knew something weird was coming at some point, though.
I did, but you could have also gone real MOR for me. Because you could have gone for a fucking...
Actually, this is probably a good time as
lager.
ever to give my honourable mentions. I didn't give it for my guilty
Yeah,
pleasure.
yes.
You did say
Yeah.
no. West End and Budweiser were just unlucky
Just
to miss the
outside.
cut.
Yeah.
Bit of a weird one for my Desert Island beer. Big Shed GST was like another contender for me that I would be happy drinking for the rest of my life.
That'd
It
just be
ticks a lot of boxes for
Potentially
me.
too sweet to have too many of.
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
my
know
sweet
where-
tooth showing it. And I also had just anything Belgian. So like if I was to get myself, I do prefer
or something.
a triple or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
To just personally of
Fuck, that's lovely.
those style ales. But yeah, like an Abbey style ale or something like that, I'd be ecstatic drinking that.
Making it happen, mate. Well, that's our getting to know
Delicious.
Mike. We've got Brew Busters coming up. Before we do Brew Busters, mate, we've got the answers from last.
Let's go through
last
them.
month.
This is actually going to be released after the prizes have been awarded. So I'm not giving anything away, am I?
Yeah.
I
We
reckon
had a lot of responses, man.
That's
actually.
awesome.
was
I
really-
love that.
yeah.
That's
And everyone was smarter than me because I said to put it in the comments, and then I had a few people put it in the comments, and there's a couple who were dumbass, like everyone could see. And they
cheats.
DM'd me,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, that's a better way of doing it. So I put another couple posts out with like DMs and shit, and we got a ton of DMs. It was
That's
all
good.
It was all people getting 2 out of 3, so it was this
Ooh.
1 out of 3. So we'll do that one last.
Yep.
But the other 2
Cool.
were pretty everyone.
Now,
got.
do you want me to put in information? Because I know on Insta these all appear with a visual. Well, it's pixelated, a visual clue. You get the initial with the clue, but do you want to get more information
You
as
give
to
us
where
the-
they come
this is
from?
this is a American craft brewer. Blah 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 blah.
All right.
So here's the answers from last.
So this is
month.
from last month. So we're going to go through the second one. I've first got to get my eyes on her, then I've got to keep away from her. That was maybe a little bit helpful because of the can design, a very unique green can with a logo. I've got to get my eyes on her, then I've got to keep away from her. SN, a craft brewer from the US. If you didn't get it from SN, it was see her and evade her. See her and evade her.
Sierra in the face.
Sierra Nevada.
Doesn't fucking work.
It does work though. People got that one, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
All
Everyone
right.
got that one. Literally
Even
everyone
I
got that one.
when
See
you
her
said
and
that.
evade her.
I was
All
pretty
right.
happy with myself for that
But that's what you're going to be up against for the rest of Brewbusters now.
Fuck.
That's going to be the tough one. I want people always getting 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3. I don't want 3 all the time. The third one, the Australian craft brewer. Just opened the gate and it's taken off. I don't think I'll be catching it. B, another one which was probably also helped by the can design there. Luke, what have we got? Just opened the gate and it's taken off. I don't think I'll be catching it. B stands for...
I feel like I knew this one last time.
I thought you did.
I did. My
Come on, think about it. Oh, Luke, I put you on the spot.
Yeah, you have.
It's Bolter.
Yes.
Bolter Brewing
Oh,
up in Queensland. Everyone
useless.
was onto that as well. But craft beer banter, we've lost people on the macro side of things. The final one, this is what everyone struggled with. The Weekend Raver has doubled his usual
So
dose. What did we have? We had Toll.
Toll is. I had about 5 ounces of Toll as well. And
But that's 2
Toll-
words. This is only one initial. We have 1 T.
I don't know. It's just
That's a Norwegian brewer.
Ah,
But
they do wicked cans, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just nothing, but it's.
the help that we had here was a macro brewer from Australia. And the ultimate irony, the reward is, if you do listen to the podcast, perhaps you might be rewarded with some helpful clues. The Weekend Raver has doubled his usual dose T. And you remember when I subbed in for Simo Says, the answer was
2 E's.
2 E's.
2 E's.
There we go. Did anyone get it? Have we got anyone get all three? We got
2 out of
2
about,
people.
To be 100% honest with our listeners, we had about 30
Nice.
answers. 2 people got the answers.
3 out of 3.
So 3 out of 3.
I'm happy with that success rate. I'm hoping this will carry on to next month as well. We got 3 fresh clues. I'll give you the initial. I'll give you the sort of style, whether they're like a crafty or a macro, and I'll give you a region.
Should we give the winners, basically?
As a bit of help. Or if you know the winners, we can plug them right now. Yeah.
So, at Johnny Pyle. I don't know if anyone knows him, but
he's a friend of mine.
Okay, he actually asked me. He gave me a bit of a halfway through the month. He goes, "When am I going to find out what the number T is?" One. it's like you got to guess, bro. It's like on the 24th we'll give it out, and he's like. And anyway, he ended up getting it.
Good. I can tell he's going to be a problem as well, because he was hounding me for this as well. And I can tell if he doesn't get an answer, he's going to try to weasel it out of me. More than likely over a few beers one night. So well done, John.
Yeah, John, well done. And also a buddy of the show, Grailed.
Nice one.
Grailed, he got that early as well.
Wow,
So,
okay.
That's good. That's impressive.
So well done to those 2. We're actually giving, because you guys got 3 out of 3 and no one else got 3 out of 3, we're going to give you both the prize pack, which is an assorted 6-pack of craft beer, which includes the 3 beers. What do you guys guess?
Lovely.
Thank you.
Bonus 2-ies.
Okay. You get a 2-ies. It's a 2-ies old, though. It's
2 E's
fucking
old.
rad beer.
Oh, nice.
2 E's
Cool.
old is probably one
Nice
of
one.
my first dark beers that I had, and I loved it.
Yeah, it's an amazing beer. So yeah, you guys get a 6-pack of that, and we've got some other like craft beer banter shit and stickers and stuff and dock beer stuff.
Awesome.
We'll throw that in as well and give you guys some stuff. So yeah, well done.
Really good. Now, we're going to
Sweet.
expand our borders a little bit for our clues for this month. So it's not just going to be Australian beers. We had Sierra Nevada. Disregard what I just said.
Yeah.
It's all good. First clue.
That's good, eh?
And I'm hoping this is going to be the one that everyone struggles to get, and we're not going to give too many more clues. First clue.
Which is a brewer? Sorry, is it?
Oh yeah, so this is a macro brewer that is. I'm going to say where they originate from, but they're no doubt they would have like production around the world as like contract brewing and stuff like that. But this is the first one, which is a macro brewer, which is based in Asia, or I'll give the country is China originally. So the clue there, I was going to do a song for that bird hooting in the tree there. T. Giggles. Have you got it?
Yeah, I've got it.
I got no idea.
All right, at least one person
That's
gets it.
fucking horrible. Yeah.
All right, next one. So this is a craft brewer based in Australia. This bloke goes around reviewing pastries for work. PL. Craft brewer from Australia.
That's fucking brilliant. I love that. That's so stupid. Do it. Oh, that's fucking brilliant.
Again, I have no idea.
I was about to say you're laughing very nervously there, Luke.
I'm
Oh,
laughing at Chris. He's having a great time.
fucking hell.
All right.
I'm from Perth. I'll just give my shirts back at this rate.
It's really taking the gloss off that really nice beer you did in part 1, isn't it?
Oh, that's funny as fuck.
That's got me a little bit as well, actually. Ooh, all right. The third and final. This is a macro brewer from Australia again. We got a group of blokes singing together, all go by the same name, JS. Macro brewer from Australia.
the whole thing. That's brilliant.
All right.
Oh,
So you're gonna have
that's amazing.
You're going to have an equally good prize pack heading your way if you can guess all
I
three.
got all three, you bunch of cunts.
Do I need to go through them one more time, or do you reckon we'll put them on the page so you can have it solidified and more of a concrete understanding?
Yeah, go again. I got a headache.
All right, first one, real quick. I was going to do a song for that bird hooting in the tree there. Tea, macro brewer from Asia.
Yeah, I don't know how many people get that one.
This bloke goes around reviewing pastries for work. PL, craft brewer from Australia. And got a group of blokes all singing together, all go by the same name. JS, macro brewer from Australia.
Look, you look so concerned.
I just don't get it. I'm not on the same wavelength with these.
That's the beauty of it. Maybe you'll be able to pick out the pixelated pictures on Instagram. But anyway, I'm going to hand it back to you there. We've had no mail this week, which is fucking concerning. I haven't picked anything out of your letterbox like I did last week.
We've got a PO box now. Maybe that's
A
why
PO
I
box.
haven't checked that in the fucking month.
We made it.
It's full.
God damn it, that's fucking too good. I'm out of breath from that. That's like laughing. How's that even?
Yeah,
happening?
exercise more.
I do. I'm aware of it. Thank you very much, everyone, for having a listen.
And sticking around.
Episode 208 coming out next month will be our third instalment of the UK beers, and where Chris is going to be doing his porter. So we've got a good one lined up there.
That's a Homebrew Fanatics one.
That is a Homebrew Fanatics one, and we're also going to learn a little bit more about Luke.
Yeah, my turn.
Getting to know you, mate.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again for hanging around. We'll see you guys all next month, though.
Let's do it.